Cut that right there, mate. Hold on. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we are going to prime the hood and front two fenders, get them looking good with a little bit of bondo work, maybe a little bit of bondo work, who knows. And I'm going to let Nathan tell you what we're about to do.
Alright guys, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting up this tarp, basically making a big old box so that way we can put the primer on the hood and the fender, make it a nice little secure area so paint doesn't get everywhere. But it's already built.
Alright guys, so the primer we're going to be using on this, y'all just saw us wipe everything down. We just used that with a little bit of lacquer thinner because we didn't have any prep all or wax and grease remover or anything, but it should work just fine. We also went over with tack cloth. But the primer we're using is the Rust-Oleum Primer Surfacer, and this is actually really pretty cheap. We don't need this much, but that's all they had in stock, with everything that's going on. I thought, let's go ahead and get this done, so I figured we can finish the rest of the car with it and still have plenty left over. But with this, you will have to pick up the specialty reducer. So a quart of this, if you're just doing like a single body panel or anything, I believe it's like $17. This whole thing was $50, so you think you can prime a whole car for $50? I don't think that's terrible. The specialty reducer, this whole can I think was around $20, $25. I'll find links and put them in the description below. So, and then picked up an easy paint mix cup from Home Depot for $1, and then free painting stick. We're going to get to mixing that, and we'll show you the gun we're going to use before we throw the primer on. Every Rust-Oleum product I've ever used, you have to shake. Spray cans, primer, specialty reducer. I guarantee it doesn't say to shake this. It's probably just a single liquid, but that's okay. It says do not shake, will explode immediately. Real?
I got all that.
So, note to self, don't pour it like that. I'm sure there's an easier way. I bet you if we poked a hole in it, it'd probably be better. Alright guys, so probably no surprise for a budget paint job. We are using the cheap Harbor Freight gun. It is like $15. I've read a bunch of reviews on it, and it seems to be really good. There's a video already on YouTube, but basically for newbies such as myself, you take all of these settings and basically go all the way up and then turn it down about a half turn to a full turn, or half turn, quarter turn to a half turn, whatever. It's all the same. So we're going to take this and we are going to go ahead and throw down a couple of lines, bro.
Sounds like you're doing coke. So we tried to put the camera in here while we sprayed, which was a brilliant idea for non-brilliant people. So basically we were going to get a bunch of spray back on the camera, so we had to pull it out. So sorry we couldn't film that much. Got about like 0.2 seconds before I freaked out about it. So here is what we got.
Alright guys, so we were about 3 coats into this thing. Well, I guess 2.5, because we ran out of primer about right here going through the 3rd pass. So we'll get this down here in just a second. It's probably going to need about 4 coats, and then we're going to flip it over and do the other side.
I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of Datsun.
Professional. I have to drink some water during it, so clear my throat.
All right.
All right, guys. So we ended up priming both sides of the hood tonight. Tomorrow we'll come back and start block sanding it and getting all good. Do a little bit of bondo work, and then the hood's going to be done, and we're going to call it for this episode. We're still working on the fenders a little bit off camera, so they've been a little more difficult. Actually, they're being the same amount of difficult. The hood was just really difficult, and we don't want to deal with it. So we will catch y'all in the morning. Alright guys, we were back the next morning. So this morning we've already started to wet sand it. We're wet sanding it with a 150 grit. It's not exactly what you're supposed to use, but we're making it work because it was shorthand at the time. So basically we're going to scuff this down, get it ready for a little bit of body filler. So there's some high spots and some low spots that you can't see. We're going to fix those a little bit, and then, but none of them are too bad. So when we're wet sanding, what we want to do is we'll dunk this whole thing in water, and then we kind of sand it like this and then sand it like that. You never kind of want to go across the grains. I don't remember why that is, but I remember hearing about it. So you kind of cross sand it, and really we're just scuffing this up so the body filler has something to adhere to, as well as our next thing of primer. And then when that's done, we'll hit it again with some more sanding so that this whole hood will be primed. Just like everything in this video, this will be linked in the description below, and you can check it out. Bondo time.
Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army.
Alright, so when we put down the bondo the first time, we added a little bit too much hardening that looks like ketchup. And so you can see kind of like two different tones, like one's real red, one's not so red. And so here's after the first little layer of bondo before we sand.
So yeah, really screwed up how much hardening was on the first one. It got hard really fast, so we'll probably have to sand all of that down. And the other one is fine. We're gonna wait the normal amount of time, start sanding that. Probably, like I said, sand this one all the way down fully, and then probably have to redo it. Because really the major part that's not straight is right here on the driver's side of the hood. All that part, that's the only part we've actually had to like beat with a hammer and try to get flat, things like that. So that's our number one concern. Everything else are like little minor dents and scratches that we're not worried about because it's not a show part. So, but we don't want it to look like crap that was right here, Alright guys, we forgot to film sanding the bondo down, mostly because it was a pain in the butt. And there's still a little bit to do, so maybe we'll throw a little bit of that in there, like little pieces. Can't really see because of the sun, but they're in there. Nathan's wiping it down, making sure we can get it all nice and dry before we throw another coat of primer on here. And then we'll sand that with 150 and then 400. And this baby will be done. So, yeah.
Chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the
Alright guys, so we finished shooting the bondo, or sanding it I should say, and don't put the shooting thing in there. We finished sanding it down all smooth and everything, so we're going to hit it with one more coat of primer, and then we're going to sand it a little bit with 150, and then we're going to finish sand it with 400, and that'll be good, and it'll be able to show y'all that you can prime everything for, you know, on a budget. So let's shoot it again.
You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming out fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army.
Alright guys, so some bad news about the primer job. It's actually not going to get finished in this episode. Mostly because, well, here, let me show you. So you can't really see from way up here, but if I come in closer, if you look at this in here, you can see this casing or cracking or whatever the heck it's called. I don't really care. So what ended up happening here, and it's all over here, over there, that whole back area over there, and some up top. It's just everywhere. So this happened after the coat, after the bondo, and I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna worry about showing this on camera. I'll just mention it. I'm gonna come back, I'll sand it down, and I'll respray it. So I sanded it down earlier tonight, and then I just finished respraying it, and same thing again. But what I found out was two different things. First, I don't think I was waiting long enough between the coats. You know, I got a little anxious, and I was like, okay, I'll spray this when the top gets dry. I'll spray it again. Well, basically, if you look at the first reason why this is caused, that's a huge reason. I was like, okay, because the first time I just laid down straight primer, it came out wonderful, but I was waiting a lot longer. And two, I started putting it down in thicker coats. However, I tried to fix it this past time. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go and do thinner coats. But the gun, being a $15 Harbor Freight gun, the adjustment on how much is spraying was kind of getting all jacked up. So just part of the reason, I mean, I had no adjustment. I tried to thread it, rethread it, and so I just sent it on this tonight. It's all covered, so we'll come back in, I don't know, maybe a couple of days and try to resand it and shoot it with a little bit of primer. So pretty disappointed, but you know what, you win some, you lose some. So there will be a part 2 of this that comes soon, but I definitely need a break from this, and we're going to work on other things because we got a bunch of cool stuff that just came in today for the Z. So thanks guys for watching all the way through the video, and make sure to hit the like button. It really does help. I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and commenting. I really like all the comments. Been some really good ones out there coming in, telling me exactly what I need to do so that I don't end up wasting my time and having to redo something. So thank y'all for that. Alright guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch y'all next time.